Hello and welcome to the BOSStimator. This little tutorial will describe what makes Excel so good, and then how does the BOSStimator compare side by side with Excel. Because if it's not any better than what you're already using, then there's no use to changing it over. So let's compare what's great about Excel first, and then we can get into maybe what's not so great in additional videos. But if I can't tell you, if you're not completely satisfied that the BOSStimator is going to be able to at least match, if not exceed, the great things about your Excel spreadsheet, then I would say that you probably need to stick with your Excel spreadsheets. So let's get right into what makes an Excel spreadsheet so well. An Excel spreadsheet is simple to use. I mean, it's maneuverability within it. It's up and down, left and right. It's very simple to get the information that you want. You probably use it over a period of years, so your template that has been customized to a point where it's tried and true, and you get an excellent estimate at a pretty quick time frame. And I give Excel kudos for that. And it's stable. So how does that compare to the BOSStimator? The BOSStimator, well, this is the estimating screen. If you're looking at this, you would probably say it looks pretty close to what an Excel spreadsheet or another spreadsheet type of application looks like. It works in the same premise as what an Excel, and because I used Excel for many years and for my own general contracting company, and the only reason I chose to go different are because of some of the issues that I had with Excel, and again that will be addressed in other videos. But to get up and down and maneuverability, that's the same basic thing. You change a number and it adjusts it throughout. So if you wanted to, and this does a lot more than that though, because if you adjust one thing, it adjusts a lot more than just the one that you're possibly on. But let's go back to the good things about Excel. Tried and true. Well, Excel or those type of spreadsheets works on a Microsoft platform or something similar to those type of platforms. This program is built on Access, which is also part of the Microsoft Office suite, but it's the professional version, not just the Office version. So it's run and operated within the same platform as Excel. The Excel ease of maneuverability, the tried and true. What about customization? In your Excel spreadsheet, I'm sure you've customized this thing so much that you can put a figure in that you know for sure without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to give you the same results each and every time you use that section within your template. Well, the same thing works on this. You have to, the difference is that instead of most of the time in an Excel spreadsheet, you would have a whole grouping of things that calculate one cost. Well, those groupings are located also underneath each one of the tasks, and these are called tasks. The things underneath it, we call them items, because the items are what make up the actual cost to perform the task. The task does the work. Items are the things that they need in order to do it. So you combine materials, labor, and equipment, subcontractor equipment, other whatever, to do the actual scope in that task. Same basic thing is probably how you have your Excel spreadsheet set up. Again, I developed this with the Excel experience because I like the ease of use of Excel. So being able to do it, the great thing about this on an Excel spreadsheet, if you got a large Excel spreadsheet, you either have multiple different pages with all of it connected together and summarized on one page, or you have one monstrosity of a Excel spreadsheet and you're going up and down between the pages. Well, the same thing works. I mean, you may have a whole bunch of different tasks in here, but you don't have all the detail unless you want to see them. And you can press the plus button and it will open up and say, hey, what's this made of? That $4.25 comes from this. And that's how it's calculated out. So that's if you say, you know what, that price for that 2x4 is $3.25. Hey, you're changing it. Do you want to lock it? The computer, it does a little bit more smarter stuff than what Excel. In Excel, most of the time you either have it the field locked, or you don't, or it doesn't give you any warnings. Maybe you don't want to do it, but why it's doing this is that if you ever get a bid back from somebody that has that as part of their bid package, a 2x4 stud, If you don't have it locked, it will adjust that value throughout your entire estimate. No matter where it is in your estimate, it'll find it and it'll adjust it. Excel won't do that unless you have it so tailored and such a huge thing that you spent many hours. So it's a possibility that you have it, but this is built in with that same feature. But if you don't want to update that one, let's say for example, you know what, for that just this one individual thing, I want to use that. Do you want to lock it? Yeah, I want to lock it. In other words, if we ever get a price back in later on, that figure will never be adjusted. Excel, you have to do a lot of filtering and renaming and stuff like that in order for that to happen. BOSStimator, you click it, that will never be adjusted. And it even goes further than that. You can adjust the whole thing so that whole task won't be adjusted. Not just the items underneath it, the whole task won't be adjusted. So you have the ability to control what's included and what's updated and so on and so forth. So your ability to do all this, as you can see it when I changed it at 325, the task rate changed. And it does more than that. This is how you calculate the unit rate. Then you can come up and adjust the individual quantity. So I want 140 of them. So right now I am at 143, 488. Isn't that fast? I am now at 143, 542. So you can see that by adjusting just the unit rate, it adjusts everything else. But it also keeps a running tally of how much labor, material, subcontractor, equipment, and other costs that you have, including how many man hours you have in it to do it. To say, well, how does that find that? It's as simple as saying, hey, let me find out what that means. I'm clicking on the estimate summary, and it says this is the raw cost involved into it. Add-ons will be discussed at a later time, but it kind of gives you a breakdown. So all these here add up to the same amount. Add-ons will, like I said, will be discussed later. So the ability to adjust an individual item to make it customized within the individual task is just as simple here as it is on your Excel spreadsheet. The great thing though is that when you adjust it in your estimate here, you're not adjusting a template. You're adjusting just the estimate. And that's huge with regard to Excel, because Excel it's great for what it does, but you're always duplicating usually the same template or the over and over and over again, so you can reuse that on future estimates. But once you start going in and making adjustments to your formulas, you know what? You're risky to save that and reuse that as a template for future ones because your formula was customized for that individual estimate. And I think you know what I'm talking about, because I know how many times that I would estimate a project and get in there and tailor it, got the job, it was good. Then 2 years, a year down the road, or 6 months down the road, I'd go have a job that's real similar to it. So I'd copy the old one because it was all customized for that individual, and just start copying and pasting and deleting those things that pertained and add the things that didn't, forgetting that I made a change to the formula and that made a faulty estimate. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. But that's what the good thing is about the BOSStimator, is that we have alleviated that as a possibility, because if you want to make it as a template, you can make it, but it goes back to the default values, not to the customized values within the individual estimate. One of the other things that is really good about an Excel spreadsheet is that usually if you have your spreadsheet set up, you can probably produce an estimate in a pretty quick fashion. And that is good, because obviously time is money. The same premise is set up with regard to the BOSStimator. Let me go ahead and I'm going to remove something here so I can kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and do this and remove this package from the BOSStimator so I can pretty well start over from scratch. Okay, so we have nothing there. Okay, the same thing is that if you creating your custom template, that's what we call a package. So I'm going to create a package, and I'm going to go ahead and add one, and you can create as many packages that you want to and bring them in and out. There's a complete tutorial on that, but I'm just going to say I'm building a house, and I got standards that I usually have set up within it already. I'm building one house, but you can adjust it. So I'm saying, okay, on this house I don't have any recessed cans. I'm deleting that within my house. The kitchen is set up as fine. I got 2 bedrooms in this, 4 bedrooms in this house. I got overall the plan says 8 ceiling fans. So you can come through here, you can alter it before it even gets put into the estimate. Or you can come down here and say, okay, my sod installation, I want to put in this, and I'm putting in 1,250 square foot of sod, so on and so forth. Anything in red pretty well tells you what's going on. Then I'm just going to go ahead and add it. And it was that fast, that quick, that I've just added a complete house package to the project. And so that's your template. I imported it in. It wasn't nothing to it. And I've adjusted it before I even brought it in. But let's go ahead and go see what's all been brought in here now. Now I got 161 tasks involved into it. So I can say, you know what, I'm going to take out the entire cabinet allowance that I had in here. I'm deleting it. Right now, you probably wouldn't want to reuse that template, but the next time you just bring in the package and it's that fast. But I just created a template with a package at $120,000, probably faster than what you could have with your Excel spreadsheet, because you were plugging and playing a number. Maybe you could have, maybe you couldn't have. But I would say that the BOSStimator is definitely as fast. I would say it's faster, but I would guarantee it's as fast as any Excel spreadsheet that you've created. So production is very important, but the results are just as important as what you're getting out of it. I can instantaneously see where I'm at. And I can do even more than this. Something Excel can do, but it's a lot harder to do. Say, you know what? I only want to see those things that contain, well, let's go ahead and I'm going to deselect it. Up at the top, you'll notice all the drop down, these are all sortable. I only want to see the scope of work for concrete. That fast, I know I'm at $12,248. I have 120 hours in labor, this much in material, that much in subcontractor, and that much equipment. You know what? I'm going to go ahead, I don't care about my finish though. I don't want the finishes part. I just want the overall thing, because finish is not part of it. I just filtered it even further. And you know what? I only want to see those things that have cubic yards. You could see that I have just completely sorted this thing in such a way that gives me the information as fast. You couldn't do that fast in Excel. I think you would have to agree with that. And it tells you where I'm at, how much material, how many labor hours, just to do those things that I got right up there. To remove it is simple as clicking that. And now I've removed it. So you have the complete ability to sort it in any fashion that you want to. And you can actually add so much more to it. So when you're estimating it, you can go in here and you can assign it in different buildings, different floors, different areas, different rooms and options, different drawing numbers. And as you're estimating, you put these things in there and you can filter just as fast as I just did for the categories. Categories are what you probably are aware of as CSI codes. But in order to use the CSI coding structure, I'd have to charge each individual person a premium and pay them for the use of their nomenclature. So we are using our categories, but it's kind of a cross-reference to what you may be familiar with in the CSI coding. But let's say on another thing that you probably have a hard time doing in Excel is labor production. Let's say, for example, that you're out here and for some weird reason on this individual job, you're able to produce an efficiency of 200. That means you're working twice as fast as what it normally would take. The computer will go through and just adjust the labor values and make it twice as fast for that individual item as what it did before. Or you know what, for this one, I am at 184 hours. I'm actually it's going to take 4 times as slow. And that fast, I just increased it just for that one item. So you have the ability to adjust efficiency of production on an individual task that fast. Excel's good, but it doesn't create the full picture. Another good things about Excel is that most people know how to use it. They know how to get in there, they can adjust it, they can walk around. And to say that they wouldn't be able to do that within the BOSStimator, I would say that they will be able to understand the whole premise behind this just as fast as what they learned how to use an Excel spreadsheet, because it's set up basically the same way. The only difference is if you're wanting to find an estimate for one client in Excel, you're looking all over the place. You may have a certain location on a file, then you have saved as option 1, option 3. You may have 5 or 6 estimates. The BOSStimator does it differently, because that was one of my pet peeves with Excel, is I may have had 6 estimates for the same client, and then they end up going back with the second one that I produced that I modified. So it's like, okay, which one was it that we were originally talking about? Was always able to do it because my nomenclature was there and I was able to locate it, but it was always cluttering, and trying to figure it out always possibly could cause some confusion. So what we did is I made it so that you have a list of clients within the main. You may have 150, 200, you may have 15,000 clients. It doesn't matter. That BOSStimator doesn't care. You find the client, you can search for it the same way as you did before. You can search here, you can filter through it, other videos. Once you find your client, you press the client button. What that does, it takes you to the client screen, gives you the information. You have a video, a picture of him if you want to put that on there, information about him. Client may have 15 different projects. Okay, well, you find the project you're looking for. Then once you're into the project screen, well, it may have 150 different estimates. Well, you find the one that you want, so you select it and you press go to, and then that estimate is the one that you're looking at. So it's very simple to find which one you were at. And it's even more simple to say, okay, that's a good estimate. I want to copy that one and reuse it, but I know there's some areas. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and copy an estimate, which is basically creating a template off of a previous one. You select the one you want, and you select where you want to put it. It doesn't even have to be in the same job, same project. Doesn't have to. It doesn't matter. You tell it what it wants, and you press make that estimate, and it will duplicate it for you. So you can adjust it. And maybe you have one that you don't know exactly which option they're going through. You may have 5 of them that are running at one time, and you want to adjust it and break it out. Fine, you can do that. The Excel, you have to resave it on a different file name each and every time. One other good thing about an Excel spreadsheet, that it's possible, not necessarily always, depends how in-depth your Excel spreadsheet is, you have the possibility of creating material lists. Well, I just created this one using a package, but right now I have a complete material list for my overall project, counting up every 2x4, every 2x6, every whatever I want. It's all in here. It's all calculated. And I can even bid it out. And that's another tutorial which makes it better, but I'll just go ahead and create one just so we can say, okay, what framing package do I have? I'm going to go in here and say I want to bid out a framing package, or bring in all the framing packages together. And what it's doing, and it's going to take a little bit of time, it's actually checking the internet, make sure you haven't received any other bids back from anybody else, from any other things that you've asked quotes for. But that's, again, goes way beyond of what an Excel spreadsheet is. But I just wanted to kind of quickly show you the material list that's being generated. Okay, well, that quick, that fast, it pulled up a complete material list for my framing package that I need to buy. It's estimated at 19.25. Obviously, you can't buy 19.25 2x10s. Well, okay, you can bid it out and request it to be 20. Well, for this one, I want 22 of them is actually how many I want to buy. So on and so forth. You can come through here and see everything that's on there. You can add more to this bid package. These are, when you pull down the drop-down menu, these are the things that are left to be bid out. So if you bid it out, again, watch the other tutorials on the bidding. But you've created a complete material package. And after you're done bidding it, if I went through here and I said I want 25 of these instead of 18 for this project, you can do that right here. You bid it out, it comes back, you're getting a quote for 25, and then when you accept that, it actually will go back into the estimate anywhere that that item was located, 2x416, and will increase that bid quantity from 18, so it now is 25. So that it'll increase your conversion factor to make that match at any time in the future 25. That quick, that fast. Excel is great, and it has a lot of powerful features, and it's simple and fast. The BOSStimator is just as efficient. I would say it's more efficient, has more power, has more memory, and easier to operate than any Excel spreadsheet. Now I would suggest you watching the other tutorials on what makes the BOSStimator better and what makes it great as compared to Excel. Like always, feel free to call the boss.